Okay, continuing with section 2.2. This is the third video. So we saw a bunch of graphs, how to sketch functions, graphs of functions. I use minimum number of points, like 3 points. And so we are now looking at the 1 over x squared. So I just made up the name, the reciprocal square, because 1 over x square is the same thing as 1 over x whole square. Okay, so you see 1 over x is our reciprocal function, and then we are squaring it. So we make the same way as we were doing before. We make table of values, but we are not going too far away from the from the origin 0 point, because if we go to the left or right, we are going to get closer and closer to the x-axis, and then it will be hard for us to plot the point. So we start with a 1 or negative 1, and we are going to get positive values, no matter whether our x is negative or positive, because we are going to square the value. So at 1 and negative 1 both, we get 1 as our y value. So I put the x values together. Instead of making the longer table, we can put them together. So at 1/2, because we are now we can see that along the when the graph goes to the right, it's getting closer and closer to the x-axis, and it's similarly when it goes to the left, gets closer to x-axis. But what happens between maybe negative 1 and 1? So when we take values, for example, at 1/2, we are getting 4. If I take 1/3, I'll get 9, and so on. So the graph is getting closer and closer to the y-axis. So we figure out that the y-axis is the vertical asymptote, and x-axis is the horizontal asymptote of the graph. Now, last function is the absolute value function, and same thing as we have been doing. And this one, like our 1 over x square function, all values of the absolute function will be positive. So note how in both these functions I did not leave space below the x-axis, much space below the x-axis, because we won't have any piece of graph in that region. So why waste the paper? Yeah, why waste the space? So this is what. So the point to note about the absolute value function is that the shape is a V. Okay, always going to be a V. Okay. So this is all for now, and then I will do the next example in the 4th video.